everyone, and welcome back to Daily English Talk. I am Cindy.
And I am Dan. Today we're back with another story-based episode, 10 phrasal verbs hidden inside real things that happen to us. Your job? Listen carefully and try to catch them all.
But today's stories have a theme. Both of our weeks involved something going wrong, plans falling apart, people letting us down, moments where we wanted to just quit.
So, if you've had one of those weeks recently, this episode is for you.
10 phrasal verbs, 2 messy human stories. Let's go.
All right, Cindy. What happened?
Okay, so as some listeners know, I work at a marketing agency. This week, we were supposed to launch a big social media campaign for a new skincare brand. We had been preparing for 6 weeks. 6 weeks, Dan.
That's a lot of work.
And then, 2 days before launch, the client called us and said they wanted to call off the whole thing. Just cancel it because their internal team had concerns.
After 6 weeks?
After 6 weeks, I was furious. And honestly, for about an hour, I wanted to give up on the whole project. Just walk away, let someone else handle it.
But you didn't.
I didn't. Because my colleague Mia, you remember Mia from last episode? She sat me down and said, "Cindy, we are not walking away from this. We make use of everything we've already built and we come back with something even stronger."
She sounds like someone who doesn't put up with defeat easily.
Not even slightly. So we went back to the drawing board. We looked at everything the client had flagged and thought, okay, what are they really asking for? And actually, their concerns called for a complete rethink of the opening message. The original version was too bold, too fast. It didn't let the audience warm up to the brand.
So what did you change?
We did away with the aggressive hook entirely, the big dramatic headline we'd spent 2 weeks on, and replaced it with something warmer, more storytelling driven. And you know what? The client loved the new version. We're launching next Monday.
So, the cancellation actually made the campaign better.
That's the thing I keep coming back to. Sometimes the thing that feels like failure is actually the universe saying, go deeper. The setback was actually what brought about a much better result.
My week was quieter than Cindy's, but it hit me in a different way, more personal.
Tell us.
So, I've been working on a new tasting menu for the restaurant, a 10-course dinner. Very personal, dishes inspired by the places I've lived and the people who taught me to cook. And one section of the menu is dedicated to my grandmother. She passed away 3 years ago, and she was the reason I became a chef.
That's beautiful, Dan.
She had this dish, a very simple braised chicken, her own recipe. She never wrote it down. It lived entirely in her hands and her memory. And I've been trying to recreate it from what I remember and from what my mother remembers. But I keep feeling like something is missing. Like I am leaving out something essential and I can't figure out what it is.
That sounds incredibly frustrating and emotional.
It is. There were moments this week where I thought, maybe I should just make believe this dish is finished and serve something close enough. Pretend it's right when I know it isn't.
But that's not who you are.
Because to make believe something is good enough when it isn't, that would feel like a betrayal. Of her, of the diners, of myself. So I called my aunt in Lyon, my grandmother's younger sister, who is 81 years old and still cooks every day. And she remembered. One ingredient, one technique, something so small.
What was it?
A little bit of white miso. My grandmother had lived briefly in Japan in her 20s. My aunt said, "Oh, she always added that, didn't you know?" I had no idea.
Wow.
That one phone call. It made up for years of not asking the right questions. The dish is finally right. We're putting it on the menu, and I am dedicating it to her, by name.
I think that's the most beautiful thing you've ever said on this show.
She would have put up with all my terrible early cooking and still told me it was wonderful. That's what grandmothers do.
Okay, 10 phrasal verbs. Let's go through every single one.
Listen, understand the meaning, and then repeat the example sentence out loud.
Call off. to cancel something that was planned.
For example, the client decided to call off the campaign 2 days before launch. Similar to cancel, but more conversational, common in business and everyday situations.
Give up, to stop trying, to quit.
For example, for a moment Cindy wanted to give up and walk away. One of the most important phrasal verbs in English, also used for habits. I gave up coffee last year.
Make use of, to use something effectively, to not let something go to waste.
For example, we made use of everything we had already built. More intentional than just use. It implies maximizing what's available.
Put up with, to tolerate something unpleasant without complaining.
For example, she doesn't put up with defeat easily. Often used for negative situations. I can't put up with this noise anymore.
Call for, to require or demand something, to be the right response to a situation.
For example, the client's concerns called for a complete rethink of the message. Also used literally, the recipe calls for 2 eggs.
Do away with, to eliminate or get rid of something entirely.
For example, we did away with the original headline and started fresh, stronger than remove. It implies permanent elimination.
Bring about, to cause something to happen, to produce a result.
For example, the setback brought about a much better campaign, often used for change or transformation. What brought about this decision?
Leave out, to not include something, to omit.
For example, I kept feeling like I was leaving out something essential in the recipe. Can be accidental or intentional. Don't leave out any important details.
Make believe, to pretend something is true when it isn't.
For example, I didn't want to make believe the dish was finished when I knew it wasn't. Often used for children's play, but also for adult self-deception. Stop making believe everything is fine.
Make up for, to compensate for something, to fix or balance a loss or mistake.
For example, that one phone call made up for years of not asking the right questions. Common pattern. Make up for plus noun, or make up for plus lost time.
Let's look at how these 10 phrases connect to each other, because seeing the relationships helps them stick.
The stopping group. Call off, give up, do away with. All 3 are about ending something. But the nuance is different. Call off equals cancel a specific plan. Give up equals stop trying personally. Do away with equals permanently remove something.
The responding group, call for, put up with, bring about. These are about how we react to situations. Call for equals, this situation requires. Put up with equals, I'll tolerate this. Bring about equals, this caused.
The making trio. Make believe, make up for, make use of. All start with make, but mean very different things. Make believe equals pretend. Make up for equals compensate. Make use of equals utilize.
And the Lone Ranger, leave out. It sits alone, but it's incredibly useful. In cooking, in writing, in conversation. When you exclude something that should be there.
This week's challenge. Write 2 or 3 sentences about a time when you wanted to give up on something, but didn't. Try to use at least 2 other phrases from today's episode in your answer.
Post it in the comments. We read every single one, and honestly, your stories inspire us too.
That's all for today's episode. 2 imperfect weeks, 10 powerful phrases, and a reminder that most good things require you to not give up somewhere along the way.
The campaign that got canceled became the best campaign. The recipe that was missing one ingredient finally became complete. Neither of those things would have happened if we'd stopped too soon.
Keep going. Keep practicing. Consistency is everything.
And be kind to yourself on the hard days.
See you in the next episode.
Bye for now.